All right. What is it? I think it's day 10 or day 11. I'm not sure. I need to review. But yeah, so we are here at Park MGM for the Babes in Toyland charity event. Pretty excited for it. Here I got some Lego here. I got some Lego toy. It's kind of like a toy drive thing. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool charity event. I'm dressed up. I get to see some of the people that have been some of the people that have been interacting with their content and stuff online. So it's pretty exciting. It's going to be a pretty outrageous night. Great event. So I'm super excited. Definitely nervous, right? Like, I'm nervous to see how this what's going to happen tonight. Like what is it going to look like, right? It's definitely a huge event. Definitely outside of my comfort zone, right? So I'm like, okay, am I just going to be completely shell shocked? Am I going to be am I going to handle it well? Probably be shell shocked, right? Like, it's going to be a crazy type of experience. I'm right out here outside of Park MGM. Let's see if you can see that. You can see that right there. We got the T-Mobile Arena. Oh, wow, that's literally the arena right there. It's pretty cool to see that all. Yeah, but this is it's pretty incredible to see how all this is coming together. Like, you literally say, oh, hey, there's this event. You say you're going to go to it. You book the ticket. You book the flight. You show up, and there it is. It's right there. It's right there in front of your face. All you have to do is just walk in. All you have to do is show up, and that's it. That's what they say. It's about, it's like 90% of success is just showing up. Are you going to show up? You're already here. All you have to do is walk inside. You have your tickets. You have your toy. It's like you've ran over to the Lego store. Oh my God, that was a story and a half. You were over at the Excalibur, and you saw the nearest Lego store was the nearest Lego store was at the Fashion Show Mall, which is like 2.7 miles away. So you literally, like, oh my gosh, you walked so fast, like all the 2.7 miles, and you had like a bunch of layers on because you thought it was going to be cold. So you just, like, oh my gosh, I was like freaking exhausted by the time I got there. But I just ran in, I bought the toy, and I got a sandwich at Earl of Sandwich, great place, great sandwiches, great price. Yeah, Earl of Sandwich is freaking fantastic. I've had 3 of their sandwiches, and each one has been absolutely excellent. I've really enjoyed their stuff. Great price too, because like I said, in Vegas, they will get you for all you're worth, cash wise, right? Like, if you want to spend $200 on food, you can do that very, very easily. Not that I've done so, but I can only imagine, right? But yeah, so we made it. I don't even know what to say. This is kind of just me doing the video, showing up, right? Me showing up, doing the video. How's today been though? Today's been a pretty good day. Pretty busy. I've been running around a little bit. What did I do? I got up this morning. I got up a little, actually kind of early, because I went to bed at like 2 a.m. last night, because I was out running around taking pictures on the strip. On the strip out here where we're at, you can see the New York hotel behind me right there. So I was out there taking all sorts of pictures. I had the tripod out and all this, so it was pretty cool. And then I was like, all right, it's a Wednesday, so I saw that Hakkasan is like kind of like one of the best clubs on Wednesdays. So I went over to Hakkasan, and by the time I got there, which was pretty late, everything was closed. Everything was closing at Hakkasan. So they were closed up. So I was like, oh shoot, I just missed it, which is fine, because it's probably better to not go than for it to be completely dead. So by the time they closed everything, I was like, all right, I am just going to go back to the hotel. So that's what I did. I just went back over to the hotel and just kind of relaxed there. Not just relaxed there, we just straight up went to bed, right? I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I was around like 2 a.m. and I got up, somehow I got about like 8. I was like, all right, sweet. I was like, let me see if I can do that. And I'd been eyeing a Hoover Dam tour. So I was like, all right, let me check that out. Because instead of just like going to Vegas and just like, spending a bunch of time in casinos and clubs and, malls and shit, I was like, let me see if I can't, go, what's it called? I'm getting distracted. I'll tell you why in a second. Let me see if I can't go to the Hoover Dam. Something that's a bit more outdoorsy. It's a bit more, it has a great, what's it called? It's a bit more outdoorsy, and it has, it's great engineering, right? Seeing how they put all that together. it really makes me wonder sometimes, right? The engineers that put together the Hoover Dam, how many of those types of people do we have left in the world, right? Like, so many people are going through engineering school. I got an engineering degree myself, but I feel like a super powerful, I feel like a super strong engineer, like, a great engineer. There's this funny game called Civilization, like they're up to like the 6th or 7th game, and in that game you can get this character, it's called like a great engineer, or like a great admiral, or a great general, right? But we're talking about engineers here. How can you be a great engineer, a great one, right? Not just a good one. There's a lot of good engineers, people who they kind of know their stuff, but like when it really gets down to it, when stuff really breaks, can they fix it, or can they build something? Can they architect something from scratch and lead a team? And I've seen that is a very, very rare skill, right? And that's something I'd love to see more of. As when we all want to see a bunch of great engineers who know how to architect incredible scientific innovations. We all want to see that, but that skill is lost in holy shit, my lips are dry. Fuck, that might be a bit of a problem. Fuck. I need to go drink some water or something. 'Cause I have this event coming up, like, literally, like, basically right now. Let me see, what's the time? It is... Shit. Oh, I have my watch on. Let me check my watch here. It is 8:40. So it's 8:40 right now. And the event's at 9, so I'm not sure I would quite want to walk back to the hotel or anything like that. Maybe I could, like, walk over to the Walgreens and pick up some, like, petroleum jelly or something, but shit, would you be able to take that on an airplane? Like, I want to fly back. I don't just want to, like, buy a whole box and throw the rest in the trash. That sounds kind of sucky. But anyways, so yeah, like, this idea of being a great engineer, someone who can architect something new, build something new, lead a team. And when I say lead a team, I mean, can you create a shared vision that other people can get behind, right? Because I look at that as, like, I fully recognize, like, I went to school and I got a degree, but, like, I don't feel like I really learned the requisite skills, right? Like, I feel really qualified, when I started working in industry. And the answer is not exactly. You always have this imposter syndrome, right? I guess that's always going to be there, but it would be nice if there was a little bit more of a, what's the word, like you felt like very confident in your abilities, right? That's something I'd love to see more of, right? So there's that. But what I'd love to do really is see something where people can really get people involved and be a force multiplier. That's the key term I'm looking for. Be a force multiplier, and make. Hopefully that shit isn't busted. I'm laying my bottom lip here. I hope it's not busted. But be a force multiplier, right? Someone who, when other people work with them, they get better, right? And I feel like it's a skill that's kind of lost, right? I say, like, good engineers. When I refer to, like, a good engineer, it's just terms I'm making up, right? But it's like someone who they kind of know what they're doing, right? But they don't really work well in a group, right? They can kind of fix issues and kind of solve problems, you know what I mean? And they're self-direct, and they're, are pretty self-directed, which is great, but, like, when it comes to a team, like, no one person can do it all alone. And when you have a bunch of people all working alone, like, you have a bunch of people in an organization and everyone's working alone, like, it creates a lot of dysfunction, right? Everyone's trying to do their own thing instead of, like, creating some type of, like, actual shared vision. So that's what I'd like to see more of, and it's hard to create that, right? And I think it all kind of comes down to, like, the basic steps of engineering, right? Like, you have your requirements, your design, your implementation, your testing, and I'm sure there's other steps, maintenance after that, and whatnot, right? Anyways, so we're toward the end of our time, 10 minutes. I'll try to do 10 minutes. It's fine time. So there's the reason I was nervous is because so I'm going to an event, it's called the Babes in Toyland, and it has, like, a ton, and there's going to be a ton of models there. And I was just thinking, I was like, wow, what if, like, they all, like, showed up or, like, walked past because like the events are literally like right through those doors, right? Like you go through those doors, you walk like 100 feet, and the event's right there. So there's going to be like tons and tons of like 10 out of 10 models literally walking in. It's like it's going to be truly an incredible thing to see. It's like, okay, what's the point of this event, right? Is this event actually it's a charity event, right? It's you say it's for the kids, right? Which it is. Like at the end of the day, kids are getting toys, right? Like that's at the end of the day that does happen, but in the process, it's really just a giant party for really good looking and really rich people. Like it's exactly what it is. It's a giant party for really good looking and really rich people. But the funny thing is, you can show up. The tickets were about $100, and then you had to buy a toy that was about $30-40. That's hence why I ran over to the Lego store, because I wanted to get a toy. You can show up empty-handed, but then they're gonna charge you $40 at the door. I was like, let me just try to show up with a toy, and that might just make everything a little bit easier. Just make the whole process easier and smoother. But yeah, like it's gonna be an incredible event. I'm just gonna try to get as much content as possible, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm a complete nervous wreck, or if I can just kind of just relax a little bit and just be normal. We'll see what happens. Anyways, whatever happens, you will probably hear about it tomorrow. So yeah, that being said, let me go in. I'm a little bit early, but let me see if they're letting people in or whatnot. And do I want to go inside early, or do I want to I don't know. Would it make sense to go inside early? Maybe. I don't know. I'm like super nervous. Like, 'cause if you go inside early, you get there a little too early, right? You're like, it's a little bit